welcome to New York City Atheists, live on tape, brought to you by New York City Atheists Incorporated. I'm your host, Dennis Horvitz, the David Letterman of the Hopelessly Damned.
Is that on?
We are taping from one of our annual Sunday brunches, and we are very lucky today. This is very exciting. We're actually playing to a packed house. Our guest today is a good friend of mine and the former president of American Atheists, Ellen Johnson. I guess I kind of first met Ellen in person back in 2002 at the Goggles in 1998 for the Clinton administration, and demanded that atheists get a place at the table. I think she is the former president of American Atheists, and she's now involved in a program called EnlightenTheVote.com, and she's the executive. All right, this will come out eventually. She is the executive director of EnlightenTheVote.com, and the purpose of the organization is to get atheists elected to public office. She met with the Office of Public Liaison in 1998 for the Clinton administration, and demanded that atheists get a place at the table. I think we've had some success at that up to this point. We still have to go a lot farther. She's also has been a frequent guest on national radio and TV, including the Handing Combs on Fox Network, The O'Reilly Factor, Larry King Live, the CBS Early Show. She's survived like that. She's been a guest on the CBS Sunday Morning. I'm reading off a list to take the entire program to read the whole list. She's an honorary associate of the Rationalist International and honorary board member of Scouting for All, a nationwide group that seeks to end discrimination against atheists and gays within the Boy Scouts of America. Without further ado, my very good friend, Ellen Johnson. Please welcome.
I don't think we have a problem advancing atheism. We have very good numbers, and the numbers are doubling every 10 years. That's not a problem. You have the internet. Anybody can find atheism. All right, that you can't. That's not a huge problem. You can have twice as many, 3 times, 4, 5 times as many atheists as you have now in America. But if you're not voting your atheism first, it's not going to matter. Okay, it's not going to matter that much. And as far as having lobbyists, you can lobby a politician all you want, but if they don't care, if the religious are lobbying them more, if the religious are going to turn out for the vote more and vote their religion first, the politicians need a safety net. They need to know that you're going to turn out and vote for them. They need to know you're going to drive people to the polls. They need to know you're going to donate to their campaigns. You're going to spend the money to get them elected to office. Then they're going to listen to you. In fact, they're going to court your vote. They will court their politicians. So who are going to turn out the votes more? The religious. Atheists are not turning out the votes for their candidates. So I understand what you're saying. I'm just not seeing that from the work that I'm doing with EnlightenTheVote.com.
The gentleman on the side, and then Joe in the back.
The question I have is, very briefly, I know there was a lot of uncertainty and doubt about the final fate. What caused the death of, what is known about the death of the 3 people? I'd like to have some.
How did the Muriel Hares die?
Yeah.
A psychopathic, well, I don't know how much you know. There were 4 people involved. The psychopathic, the sociopath, David Waters. He was the office manager at American Atheists. They had no idea about his criminal background. It went all the way back to his youth. He's a sociopath. Okay, he's a sociopath. They did not know it. Sociopaths are good at hiding this. Now, the Muriel Hares had a trust fund in New Zealand. What was the trust fund? It was in New Zealand because of the incredible interest rates on the money invested there. Well, the office manager saw the bank statements, thought that they were like, and also there were people who hated the Muriel Hares who would spread rumors saying, like Brian Lynch did, saying that the Muriel Hares had millions of dollars in offshore accounts. And Brian Lynch was saying this to the IRS to try and get the Muriel Hares in trouble. Okay, when people lie, people die. Brian Lynch is one of the people, I'll say it out loud, you know, who shouldn't have been doing things like that, and I think the guy has blood on his hands. When you lie, people die. So when a sociopath hears that there might be money in foreign accounts, and he's a sociopath, he decides to get an ex-con, Gary Carr. Gary Carr, his friend, had been in jail for 18 years, just released. He had been in jail for rape and kidnapping and other horrible crimes. gets out of jail after 18 years, decides to hook up to commit another crime. David Waters enlists him and Danny Fry, a friend from another friend of theirs, I think he lived in Texas too. So three of them. I don't know if there was a fourth, but there was three of them. So they decide to kidnap the Murray O'Hairs and, extort money out of them, try and get them to get those millions of dollars. Well, they didn't have the millions of dollars. They opened up credit cards, maxed them out, did all kinds of things. They tried to, send whatever money they could from the trust fund, but they didn't have the millions. So they obviously believed that their lives would be spared at some point. They were wrong. And you all know the saying, never go to the second location when somebody kidnaps you. Never let them take you to the second location. They were taken to the second location. They had so many opportunities to get out of there. Obviously, they thought that they were going to be set free. When they coughed up as much money as they could, I guess they had no more use for them, and they killed them. And Danny Fry, unfortunately, he was an alcoholic, and they were afraid he was going to talk because they cut up the bodies, the whole thing. So Gary Carr and David Waters shot Danny Fry out in the woods somewhere. He was the one who was decapitated and had his hands cut off.
Was anybody ever convicted or?
So they finally, learned that it was figured out that it was David Waters and Gary Carr. They were arrested. They were convicted. Gary Carr is spending the rest of his life in jail, and David Waters died in jail from cancer, unfortunately. I mean, because I'd like to see him just spend the rest of his life,
That's it.
Okay. Two things.
And then you.
Oh, they said we could be here all day, so.
Two things. Number
Sir,
one,
I'm sorry. Can I just
is Johnny Carson a closet atheist? Number one. Number two, I just want to point out that Ronald Reagan Jr. is now an atheist, and are you engaged in trying to enlist him either to run for office or to use his considerable clout for it?
I would suspect that Johnny Carson was an atheist. I mean, you wouldn't have MADALYN OHAIR on your show if you weren't. Yes, you would disagree?
Yeah, Carson actually used to donate buttloads of money to the Amazing Ranch and his whole debunking thing, so it wouldn't be surprising.
That's cool. And enlisting other people, famous people, to run for office? No, we haven't done that. It's not going to happen yet. We are not there yet. It's political suicide to come out. I think it's okay to be a stealth candidate. I think it's important. Go ahead, if you're an atheist, be a stealth candidate. That's fine with me. But we're not there yet. We are not considered a voting bloc. We do not vote our atheism first. We have to prove at the local level we can get a candidate elected to office. Look at all of you here. How many of you are with New York City Atheists? That's a political campaign office. Pick one person. Pick a local office, school board. Get that. I challenge you to get that person elected to office. I challenge you to see if, one, you have the will, two, you can get together. You have a group of intelligent people with resources. You can get one person elected to a local office and then get another person elected to a local office. That's how you're going to get things changed. You're already organized. You already meet once a month.
Okay, Dennis, you
That's in the back.
I want to stay Catholics? Fine. If you want to overlook, all of the sexual abuse, fine. If the religious are getting fed up with the religious too. It's not just us. The religious file as many state church separation lawsuits, maybe more. The Jews do. Then we do. They're fed up with the religious. The religious push everybody around. They take advantage. And the mega churches that the Mormons want to put up, in the town that I just used to live in, Rockaway Township, New Jersey, and a company moved out of this big expanse of land with these huge buildings, and Christ Church of blah 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 wanted to buy it. Well, they were black. It's a black church. And I say this because The town was up in arms about this. Now, I don't know if it was because it was a black church in a white community or because it was a big church bringing in people, vulnerable, the needy citizens who are on, needed drug counseling and all of that. But the town was up in arms. And I say to myself, good. You should have religion shoved down your throat. Maybe you do something. You should have your your taxes go up because all that property is going off the rolls. Maybe you're going to learn. We have to have it shoved down our throats. They have to pay for the religion too before they'll do anything. Unfortunately, that's human nature. Incidentally, when Madeline talked about the religious taking over social services, I have seen it firsthand. When it comes to, and this is not me personally, drug addiction, if you need a rehab or you need counseling, the religious have all of those programs tied up. They get all the money. And you'll get counseled by priests, you're going to get counseled by nuns. The churches are running these things. The religious know where to get the vulnerable citizens, and they know where to get money. It's in drug rehab and drug counseling and alcohol counseling. It's incredible. It's incredible. And drug abuse and alcohol abuse in this country is a huge problem. And so a huge number of people are now having to go to AA programs. They gang up on you if you don't pray. They pray. They tell you that you'll never be cured. You're going to have this all your life. You'll never be cured. The religious have control over this addiction problem in our society, and I'm not sure where the change will come from that. It would be nice if we could come up with secular alternatives. SOS, Secular Organization for Sobriety, unfortunately, they've got to do a better job. They have a good program, but they really need to get people to support them to start their programs. The religious have buildings. They get rooms in all hospitals to run their religious programs, religious counseling programs. So I've seen this because of somebody I know who has a drug problem, and it's the religious know what they're doing. All we have to do is do what they do. Yes, sir. You're next. Yes, Eric.
Is there any plans to put together a video on Madeline and publish it, make a movie out of it, or spread the word?
I don't own any of this. It's not. That's not my property, so I don't have the ability. When I was with American Atheists, that would have been different. So you have to talk to somebody else. Yes, Elaine.
First of all, thank you for that wonderful presentation.
Yes.
Thank you.
So how would you, two things, what do you think, or how do you see the movement going forward? And you say support the candidates, etc., but since 99.9 of them would be stealth, how do you know?
Most of the candidates that we hear from, how do we support the candidates? At enlightenthevote.com, we'll give you a thumbs up or a thumbs down. I need people to tell me candidates who we should support or not support based on the separation of state and church. This is all we're concerned about. It's not, at the environmental issues based on their stand on the war or anything else. All right, it's just state-church separation issues. So that if that's how you want to vote, that's where you can find people who we endorse.
My second thing was, how do you feel about, just personal opinion, I guess, about Margaret's unity for March for 2013?
Margaret Downey is starting a unity. It's kind of like the Godless Americans March on Washington. I think that's fine. I think it's a good idea.
Because none of the major people seem to be willing to commit to it.
None of the major organizations are committing to it. I need to know more about it. I don't think unity is our goal. I don't think unity is the problem. I think maybe there should be a different name. I think that her idea is, to show the government that we are a voting bloc. That's not going to do it. That's not going to do it. You've got to show the politicians that you can get somebody voted into or voted out of office. And if you can't run somebody here in New York, pick somebody you want to vote out. Support another candidate and go volunteer at their campaign headquarters. Okay, you do that as individuals. New York City Atheists, you're tax exempt. Jane?
Yes.
You can't get involved, the organization can't. The organization can't send money or anything like that, but you can all do it on your own, and you can come here and organize how you're going to do it, and you can print up flyers and hand out flyers and get people to donate and drive people to the voting booth. You can do all of those things that you need to do to get somebody elected to office. Show politicians who you are, and show them what you can do on election day. Then they're going to listen to you. They're going to listen to you. They're going to be here talking to you instead of me. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. Party is, if a candidate was from, is there...
LaRouche party.
What?
Say Lyndon LaRouche's party.
Oh yeah, Lyndon LaRouche's party. No, we wouldn't just endorse somebody willy-nilly. If you're a crackpot, you're a crackpot. There are even atheist crackpots. So, But there's stealth crackpots too. There are people who put on a nice front, but so you have to. And if we endorse somebody and we make a mistake, we can just pull that. But in 2004, a Reform Party candidate for president asked for our endorsement. An Hispanic atheist candidate running for state representative of District 35 as a Democrat asked for our endorsement. Somebody running for the U.S. House of Representatives in Florida wanted our support. A Green Party candidate for the U.S. House in Illinois' 10th District, Josh Bowden, ran for office as a District 4 legislator in New York State, asked for our help. Don Havis asked for our help from California. He ran for the school board. David Wallace Croft ran for the Texas House of Representatives in District 65. Jack Truman ran as a Democratic candidate for the 7th District in Southwest Missouri. I can go on and on and on. These people want our support, or they're atheists running for office, and most of them want our endorsement. That's incredible. That's incredible. And and I'm on my computer trying to find these candidates, and I need people to help me. I need people to help me. I need you to run for office. I need you to tell me if you know of somebody who we should support. Yes, dear.
You say vote your atheism. I think a lot of people hear that and say, well, I don't care that much about the pledge. But if you define it in terms of stem cell research and gay rights, all of a sudden people care. So do you have a broad definition of separation of church and state or a narrow definition?
Issues that involve the Establishment Clause. Okay, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. A state-church separation issue. If the stem cell research were to go before the Supreme Court, it would not fall under the Establishment Clause. If an issue would fall under the Establishment Clause, that's where we define it. And the civil rights of atheists. If you can't adopt somebody because you're an atheist, if you're forced to attend an AA program because of a DUI, that's an atheist state-church separation issue. All right, liberal social issues usually are what you are. Most atheist humanists are liberals. Most of you are. Not all of you are. Most of you are liberals. So most of you embrace liberal social issues. The evolution, women's rights, gay rights, the environmental issues, stem cell and all of that. They're not state-church separation issues per se. There are so many organizations which are well-funded, which have office buildings in Washington, D.C., which are already covering those issues and fighting for those issues. But what do? We want to help them. We want to give them our money. We want to give them our time. They're not doing that for us. And who are the people who are supporting those liberal issues? The atheists. They're not turning around and saying, what can I do to help you? What can I do? They don't do that. But we want to give all our time and money to them. They're good causes, whatever causes. Okay, I'm not going to take a side here. They're good causes. I understand the importance of other causes. And I understand that they take precedence right now over atheism and state-church separation. Until state-church separation becomes as important in your mind as those other issues, we're going to stagnate. We're going to stay right where we are. You can't make that leap. You can't make that change. You can't make it important in people's minds unless it, you just can't make that happen. It's going to happen by itself. I don't know what's going to make it happen. I just want you to think about putting it first. Think about, this is a way that you can make change. It's easy to do. If you can, hey, run for office yourself. You wouldn't vote for yourself? Of course you would. All right, run for office yourself. But that's where we would define who we would support and who we wouldn't support. EnlightenTheVote.com is a political action committee. We don't file lawsuits. So, I mean, if individuals, I think it's important for individuals to file the lawsuits. There are so many lawsuits out there that should be filed. So many of them that should be filed. We should be filing lawsuits up the wazoo.
Eric,
I know a lot of lawyers disagree with me,
Eric.
but that's what I think. Yes?
Yeah,
At EnlightenTheVote.com, we have a professional campaign advisor who will give free advice to somebody who is running for office. That's what we have right now. We do need more volunteers who are going to help come and help our candidates. You're absolutely right. Volunteers are welcome. Anybody who wants to do that, who knows how to do that, please contact me. You're absolutely right about that.
Eric.
Should we change the hearts and minds, and will the laws change after that? It took this United States Supreme Court to force our nation to allow a black person to sit on the front of the bus. If we waited and hoped that people's hearts and minds would change about blacks, blacks would still be sitting at the back of the bus today. That's what I think. I really do. And I think if you're going to wait for the religious to stop violating the Constitution, it's not going to happen. You're going to die waiting. It took Brown versus the Board of Education to change, because if people's hearts and minds people have to be forced. They had to be forced to treat a black person like a decent human being. They're going to have to be forced. They have to be forced to treat women with equality. They have to be forced to give gays. I mean, the gays aren't sitting around waiting for people's hearts and minds to change about them. They're going to the courts. So I really think that, unfortunately, I'm tired of waiting. Being nice doesn't cut it. It's like, sorry, President Obama, being nice doesn't cut it. I don't want to be nice anymore. I'm tired of waiting. And, that's why I think we have to file the lawsuits. And then I think their hearts and minds will follow. Okay, they have to be forced to desegregate the schools and things like that.
What was it Henry Kissinger said? Get them by the balls and their hearts and minds.
Get them by the balls and their hearts and minds will follow. You have to play hardball. This is why the religious keep violating the Constitution. They have to in order to survive. They're the ones who are in trouble, not us. Our numbers are increasing, their numbers are decreasing. They are hurting. In order to survive, they need the government to give them people and money. The only way for the government to help religious is to violate the Constitution. You want to cut that umbilical cord that feeds them, that nourishes them? File a lawsuit, an Establishment Clause lawsuit, but get politicians, get judges who are going to vote in your favor. You have to have all your, your ducks lined up. Going before the courts we have now is very tricky, very, very tricky. So we need to get our judges into office. And, the person who is going to be nominated for the Supreme Court to replace Justice Stevens, they're not even going to ask them about state-church separation. They're not even going to ask them about that.
Right.
All right? We're not there yet.
Right.
We're not there yet. But, yes, we need more. Television is all atheism. Television is all atheism. Most everything, it doesn't have anything to do with religion. I mean, it's basically atheism. Okay? A plumbing show is atheism. Unless there was a miracle to get the water flowing. I mean, it's basically, science programs are atheism. I don't think, like I said, atheism is really the problem. We have the numbers. How many people are Jewish in this country? Less than 3%. Is the Jewish population powerful? Less than 3% of the American people are Jewish. We have 18% of Americans are non-religious, 18%. I think we have the numbers. We're just not doing anything with it yet. They care about their issues. They're going to put their money and their money where their mouths are. Okay, they're going to go after what they want, and they're going to trample anybody who gets in their way. Now this sounds harsh, but that's politics, my friend. That's how you get what you want. You can sit and you can wait. That John Mayer song, Waiting for the World to Change, I hate that song. You do not sit and wait for the world to change or for the religious to do the right thing. They will never do the right thing. People are not going to treat you the right way. They're going to take advantage of you and get away with, that's human nature. People are going to get away with as much as they can. Don't blame them for trying. blame the people. In fact, you can play that last MADALYN clip. There's one more MADALYN clip. You want to hit it? Yeah. There's one more MADALYN clip, which is very endearing. It gets cut off, but yeah, it's very touching. She talks about when she dies.
Oh, and you have to,
And it's the last thing I'll say unless we have more questions, because she sums up what I'm about to say.
I'm going to write back on the city.
This is an old tape, and the last minute I grabbed this and said, oh, great, I have this tape. They don't really talk about give this MADALYN talk anymore? Okay,
Yeah, I think he turned up. We have to turn on the,
Home is mourn not the dead. I'm 74 years old now. I'm diabetic, and I'm in really rotten health. And I hang on to life, for there is nothing else that I can do but hang on and fight. And I'll die too. And this poem expresses my feeling about my own death. And I admonish you that when I do die, you should say, mourn not the dead. And this is important. Essentially, even though you do not know your own history, you do not know your own heroes, they have all been butchered by Judeo-Christianity. I give the advice of the last stanza of this three-stanza poem of Ralph Chapman to all atheists everywhere now. I've had this printed into a bookplate, and it is on every book that I own. Mourn not the dead, but rather mourn the apathetic throng.
I'm sorry, and the coward and meek and those who dare not speak, who see all this but dare not speak. I'm sorry that got cut off.
we're going to wrap this up.
Okay.
Ellen, thank you.
Everybody.
Thank you very much for giving us so generously of your time.
Thank you.
We don't see you often enough, and hope you will come back again. So,
Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Jane. Very
I'll just do
much.
it. You've been watching New
Thank
York
you,
City
Jane.
Atheists live on tape. I've been your host, Dennis Horvitz. Thanks for joining us. See you next week.